Hey everyone, welcome. I'm MisterBo, and last week with the introduction of the Spooky Grand Prix, Beenox also added in the brand new edition of Engine Swap, where you can pick any character and you can put them into any driving style class. But along with that, they also introduced a brand new driving style class, and that is Drift. So in this video, we're going to be taking a look at Drift, and we're going to be asking the question as to whether or not it is worth it compared to maybe Speed and Acceleration, the more popular classes that people pick for time trials as well as online races. So of course, before we get into this, if you do enjoy the video, then be sure to click the like button. If you are new around here, subscribe for more gaming content and coverage, and if you do, also tap that bell icon to be notified on future videos. So we're going to be taking a look at a couple of things in this video. Firstly, we're going to have a race between the 5 different driving styles down a straight line, seeing which one gets to the end quickest, and then you'll be seeing gameplay of myself trying to get a great time around Coco Park in time trial with Speed, Acceleration, and then Drift. And at the end of the video, we'll sort of compare everything and we'll talk about whether or not I personally think Drift is a worthwhile style in this game. Obviously, you guys will have your own opinions and feel free to leave those in the comments below. So starting with the straight line race. So we're on Coco Park, we're at the start line, and on screen you can see we have Drift, Speed, Acceleration, Balance, and Turn. They are all labeled at the top of the screen for you, and we're gonna see who gets to the end quickest. So as you can see, Acceleration actually gets the lead early on because, well, it's the Acceleration class, it has the best acceleration, but Speed slowly starts to catch up as we get further down the straight line. In terms of Balance and Turning gets a better start, but then they kind of equal out each other and they're going at pretty much the same speed. However, dragging behind is Drift. Now, out of the 5 driving styles, Drift has the lowest acceleration, so you'd expect it not to do very well in a short straight race like this. So from that, let's make the straight line race a little bit longer, starting from one side of Coco Park to the other end, and we'll see if there's any difference. So again, we're kind of getting similar results. We can see Acceleration gets the lead early on with Balance just behind, followed by Turning, and then Speed with Drift again at the back. As they make it to the second heart along the track, you can see Speed is starting to catch up with Acceleration, but leaving Balance and Turn as well as Drift far behind. Then when we get to the start line of Coco Park, you can see Speed and Acceleration are pretty much near neck and neck at this point, again leaving Turn and Balance neck and neck but quite far behind, and then Drift even further behind. Now as we get to the end, I do think Drift is starting to catch up on Balance and Turn by a little bit, but it's definitely not that noticeable compared to how quick Speed and Acceleration are getting ahead of everyone else. Now obviously this isn't the greatest comparison because this is just a straight line. When you're in a normal race, well, you're going to be hitting turbo pads, you're going to be drifting and boosting, and that's obviously going to change how quick you're going depending with the different classes. So let's go on to time trial again on Coco Park, and I'm going to see what class I can set the quickest time with. Now the unique thing about the Drift driving style is when you hit 3 good or perfect boosts in a row, you actually get an increased speed boost that's just a little bit less than the one you'd get from a turbo pad. So you would expect in a normal race, Drift to maybe start gaining a little bit of an advantage near the beginning of a race when there isn't, say, a turbo pad to get that extra speed on. So my quickest time was actually around Coco Park with Acceleration at a 1:28.72. My second quickest time was a 1:28.89 with Speed, and then Drift came down at a 1:31.89. Now that time I set with the Speed character was actually my quickest time around Coco Park until I then beat it straight after with Acceleration. Now I did try a couple of times with Drift around Coco Park and I kept getting a 1:31. I wasn't actually able to get any closer to getting under 1:30. And my fastest lap around Coco Park was a 28.82 again with the Acceleration class. My fastest lap around Coco Park with the Drift class was a 30-second run, so again 2 seconds slower than Acceleration. Now obviously this track only contains a couple of turbo pads, so I thought let's give this a Blue Flames test. Let's take this to the best Blue Flames track there is to try stuff out on, and that is Tiny Temple. So I thought I'd run this with Drift and then I'd run this with Speed, and we kind of get the same results. My Speed run was a 1:45.37 and my Drift run was a 1:47.54. Now they didn't even come close to my quickest time on this track, which again was with Speed, and that was a 1:42.70. So why am I telling you all of this? What does all of this mean? Well, it means In my opinion, that drift isn't really as good as speed or acceleration for either time trials or just online racing in general. Now it is viable. I would say it's actually a little bit more viable than turning and balance. Despite what you saw with the straight line race, I've been able to do a lot better with drift in an online race than I have been able to do with balance and turning. So my question for this video was, is drift worth it? And in my opinion, it's kind of not. I think you're good to stick with speed or acceleration. In some cases, I think acceleration is actually better than speed. Just looking at Coco Park, where you'd expect a speed character to be able to just slightly outdo an acceleration character, well, it was the other way around, and that's because I was able to get a better and quicker start with acceleration than I was with speed. But again, this is all my opinion, so I'd love to know your opinions in the comments below. Let's discuss this. What do you think of the brand new drift style? Do you think it should have been added in, or do you think it wasn't needed? And let me know why. Do you think it's as good as speed? Do you think it's as good as acceleration? Have you been using it in time trials, in online, in adventure mode? Let me know in the comments below. My verdict is, again, I think it kind of sits in between. It's kind of like the new balance for me. You have speed, you have acceleration, you have drift, you have balance, and then you have turning. That's kind of where I would line it up. I'm not going to be changing to it. I'm still going to be sticking with acceleration as my main go-to, which I've mentioned in previous streams and videos. Acceleration, I think, is the way to go. But there you have it, just a quick video going over the brand new drift style. Now, we don't know if we're going to be getting even more driving styles in future Grand Prix. Who knows, we could be getting 2 more, 1 in each of the next upcoming Grand Prix. We'll kind of have to wait and see, but it would be interesting to see what they do add in, and if any of them are sort of better than the current acceleration and speed. But if you enjoyed this video, then let me know by clicking like. If you are new around here, again, feel free to subscribe. But thank you very much for hanging out with me. I do appreciate it, and hopefully I will catch you in the next one. Bye bye.